Hello, friends. Thanks for joining me, Miriam, today to do Zentangling. It's a part of the wellness arts, the therapeutic arts that are out there to just really allow us to relax, be in the present moment. And it's just a fun way to create with what for me has been some therapeutic benefits that I needed to find the Zen in the tangle. Excuse me, I'm a little bit congested, so my apologies, but we're going to do this today, and I'm looking forward to having this path of exploration of the meditative arts. So let's talk about Zentangle. Quickly, it is a easy to learn, relaxing, fun way to create abstract art using repetitive strokes to create these cool patterns. And what I have found in the 9 years that I have done this pretty much daily is that it has helped me not only to relax, to not focus on chronic things that have entered my life due to a health issue, which is how I came to this art method. But it has allowed me to also become an artist, something that I never imagined. And I 9 years ago, if you would have said I would have been drawing and had gallery shows and different things, I would not have believed it because it's not anything that I had done. So let's talk about that though as we move forward. So what is Zentangle not? Zentangle is not doodling. Zentangle is not mandala drawing. Those are all in the therapeutic, meditative art, or wellness arts family, but they each have different methods that get you into that meditative art form. And what I love about Zentangle is it has 8 specific methods, and we are going to do those methods today. So here we go. What are the tools you need? A pencil, number 2 or graphite is great. An ink drawing pen, preferably an artist pen, but any pen will do, by the way. People ask, well, what size or what thickness? I go with a medium thickness if you're a beginner in the arts. So these are just 2 different sizes. Same thing, artist pen, but just 2 different sizes. A blending stump that we'll use with our pencil to move lead and create shading. This is good shading. So we're going to be doing that. We need paper to work with. And with Zentangle, we work with small paper or artist tiles, mixed media paper. This is a 3.5 by 3.5 inch tile, we like to call them, or 4.5 by 4.5 inch tile. A sketchbook will do, by the way. You can get these at any art supply store in your community, online. You can buy the Zentangle supplies on their website. And by the way, Zentangle was created by Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas, who I was trained by. So I fell in love with it. I wanted to share the Zen. So let's get going. I'm going to actually shift my screen now to an overhead projector so we can actually work in tandem together. So if I freeze up, I'll be right back. So I am Miriam coming to you from Tampa, Florida. I really enjoy being here in this warm weather. I'm a warm weather girl. So I have thawed from that frozen screen that you saw me in seconds now. Okay, so let's start with our pencil. And if you're working in a sketchbook, or if you've have art paper and you've gonna just work in a larger capacity, that's fine. You can work out of 1/4 of your depending on the size of your sketchbook. If you're working an 8.5 by 11, I would use maybe 1/4 of it, or half. Or if you're using the tiles and you cut them down, that's fine. Or a sketchbook, that's great. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through the strokes of the Zentangle method and what the strokes are. So the beauty of the Zentangle method is it gives you an increased focus and this incredible artist satisfaction with a sense of well-being with just these strokes. Who would have known, right? I wish I would have known this a long time ago, or was taught this a long time ago in art, that it's not prescriptive, and that, we are here to create something, but also have a good time and not have self-judgment. And that's probably the most important thing. So we have an orb, otherwise known in circles as a circle, but we're not drawing a perfect circle, so we're calling it an orb. A dot, vertical line, horizontal line, diagonal line, an S. I'm taking a liberty with my S and the C. Those are it. That's the strokes. That's it, folks. Everything that we'll do today, or anytime you're going to do any kind of Zentangle drawing, it is expressive. It's one stroke at a time, and anything is possible with that movement. Okay, so let's go on and move to our creating our first tile and pattern together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil, and in each corner of the pencil, we are going to do a light dot. I'm doing a little bit of movement here in hopes that, yes, that's what I thought. I thought if I brought this down, you may be able to see the pencil markings better, and that's what it was. It was too high. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect our dots. You can draw a straight line, or if you're feeling a little funky, you can draw the lines like I have them here, which is with a little bit of whimsy. So with our feet firmly planted on the ground, take a deep breath. Please make sure that your shoulders are not in your neck. I don't want you to leave here thinking, wow, that was shoulder tangle. I want you to have a Zen experience today. And I want you to think of one thing that you're grateful for. I'm grateful for you all being here. So we have done the first step, said gratitude. We've created our corner dots with putting dots in each corner. And by the way, mine, once again, were darker, so it would come through. Then we connected the dots. And then that was the first three steps. The fourth step is we're going to create what's called a string. And if you just close your eyes for a minute and picture that you're in your favorite pizza joint, whether you're vegetarian, vegan, or a meat lover, you're sitting there. Oh, the smell is incredible. And then the waiter comes over, waitress, and says, what size pie do you want? And you tell them the size. Well, when your pie goes in when they're making your pizza pie, it is a whole pie and it hasn't been sliced yet. But once you make that small, medium, or large order, then your pie is sliced. And that is what we do in Zentangle. We create these quadrants or slices within our tiles to get the Zen. And you have to experience it to understand how that slice or quadrant, as we move in it with the strokes I mentioned, can you smell it? It just turns into the most luscious, zenful pie. And you'll experience that as you allow yourself to be open and explore with me. Okay, so now we're going to move to our pen. I'm sorry, we're going to stick with our pencil and we're going to create a slice in our pie. I forgot to slice our pie. So I'm slicing the pie in half, and I've created two slices, right? Now I grab my pen, okay? So the corner dots, border, connecting the dots and create this invisible frame with our pencil, and then our string where we sliced our pie, and smells so good. And now we're grabbing our pen to work with a tangled pattern. And that's what it's called. It's a tangle pattern. And they are named. You can find these on Pinterest. You can find these on YouTube. And they are called Zentangle tangle patterns. And many of them, mimic things that we see in nature, that we may see in our home, patterns on our clothes, in hotel rooms, on the pattern on of a plant, a feather, flower, whatever that might be, or something geometric that we may see in architecture. And that is what I love about it, because all of those allow for movement through strokes. All right, so pick a quadrant. I'm going to pick this larger quadrant, and we are going to do a pattern called, I'm going to write it on the back for you so that you can have it and can look it up. We are going to do one of my favorite patterns, which is poke leaf. Pokeleaf. We're kind of heading into fall, so it's kind of a perfect time to do, something in that capacity. All right. So what that is it's going to be 2 lines, and I'm going to, you can start anywhere within, once again, we're going to be working in one slice of your pie or one quadrant. Okay. You can start anywhere that you want. Okay. So I'm just going to start here at the kind of center. And we're not looking for perfection here. So whatever center is for you, that is where it is for all of us. I'm going to do 2 lines up. Okay. Then just underneath the tips of where those 2 strokes ended, I am going to come out and around and create what looks like a nose. Then I'm going to come from the top, come down, and come up. That's the pattern. We're going to repeat it. 2 lines coming out. I'm going to, once again, at the top of where my line ended on one side, just underneath it, I'm going to come around. Oops, I got to go straight back up towards the top. Then I'm going to come down. Now I want you to just watch me for a minute. When I come down here, oops, oh my goodness, I'm going to hit this other leaf. That's okay. I'm going to lift my pen up as if I'm still completing that line stroke. And then I drop my pen down and I've hit my base. Now you're going to say, wow, look, one's shorter than the other. No mistakes in Zentangle. And I'll explain why in a minute. Because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up, we're going to kind of close the tip, the base of our poke leaf. Either a frowny face or a smiley face to close it up. Then I'm going to come from somewhere in the center of it and bring the point out, a lot or a little, depending on how much of a tip you want out of it. Then I'm going to come to the other side. Once again, the stroke is double line. Going to come around here. Oops, I hit the other leaf. That's okay. Lift your pen up. Drop it as soon as you get to the other side of the line. Come up and then come down. So that is the pattern that we are going to use to fill up in this entire area. I worked really big here, but I want to show you that you could actually work small, and here's what I mean. Now, once again, I mentioned that these pencils were basically invisible grids. So you can go obviously outside the line since there's no mistakes in Zentangle. And so we're going to fill up this whole quadrant, by the way, with the poke leaf in varying sizes. I'm going to go through the pattern again for you. Okay, I'm going to do some small ones, actually, really smaller. So I've given you 3 different sizes. Let me start over here because you can rotate your tile. It's the beauty about these small tiles. Come up here. I'm going to come around, come to the tip with a point, which is somewhere in the center of where the 2 lines meet. Doesn't have to be exact. Oops, hitting line, lift, drop. Take a deep breath. Should be no stress. Going to continue to shift my tile around. Go back. Just kind of continue to fill in this area as much as I can. Working within your comfort zone of how much you want to fill in. And then I have a nice area. So we've done our gratitude. We've created our corner dots. We've created our frame by connecting the dots, or our invisible pencil frame, just to kind of give us the quadrant and the area to work within it. Therefore, our border, our string, which split our square pie, our square tile pie into 2 quadrants. We're working in one quadrant with poke leaf. One of the other things that we do is adding a little embellishment to where our line ended. What I like to call the source of life in any leaf, where the nutrients for that are located. Just kind of gives it, like on a cake, a little bit of the icing. Now, one of the beautiful things about the Zentangle method is, how do we now take it to more of a two-dimensional piece of art in terms of what we're going to do. And one way we do that is by um, using another technique, which in some cases we like to call filling in. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill in the stems of the poke leaf to give it a two-dimensional pop. And that really allows us to start to see our bouquet of fall foliage. Or we really don't have a fall here in Florida, so it's just a continuation of a nice summer bloom. So as you see, our art starts to pop. And you may say, Miriam, my goodness, I think I see some, is it the M word? And I'm not talking Miriam, mistakes. And the beauty of that is that they're not mistakes. They're opportunities for us. And I like to go back when I'm after filling in, especially when I'm teaching, is to kind of go in and kind of smooth the ink out a little bit and fill in a little bit more, with my different pieces. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit so you can see it more from a distance. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my pencil and I'm going to go around the edges of some of the leaves that I have here on the outside. So I'm going to put my pencil, I'm going to just take it in a circular motion, put some lead down around different areas, the outside edges of the leaf itself. And then I'm going to take my tortillon. Once again, this is a very big one. And the reason I decided to work one is I wanted you to really see it. So what's happening here is the lead is being moved around by the tortillon itself. And I'm working in a circular motion over the line, bringing the lead out, giving this piece of tile a much more of a three-dimensional kind of look. I'm going to work on it in other areas where I haven't put down lead. Circular motion with the pencil and the tortillon. Taking a deep breath. I need them too. Recovering from a pretty bad cold. So I'm slightly congested still, but so my apologies if you're hearing that. But we really start to give the art abstract piece a whole nother look in and of itself. And, for me, I like that because it moves it from a one-dimensional, then we filled in here with, by our petals, by the way, right? And that gave it a two-dimensional. And now with the shading, we're adding, this three-dimensional piece. In this case, we're working on the outer edge of poke leaf, but we're moving the we're moving the pencil in a manner that brings it over it. So it's, sometimes it's within the leaf, sometimes it's outside of the border of the leaf and, creating the shading. But regardless, it's still doing what we need to do is to just bring some light and shadow into this. And this isn't a fine art class, so what we're trying to do is to just bring in some dimension to it. And I hope that, within yours, you can start to see how shading actually brings in a whole nother dimension into the art piece. Now, one of the things I could do, and this is the beauty of, having multiple pens or a thicker pen is, and I tend to like to use, what's called a brush pen. So it looks like a paintbrush, but it's a pen. And then what I could do is I could come over here work around and by the way, brush pens have the B on the top of their or on the side of their pen. So I could come in here and just start to fill in this whole other side. Since we're working with one pattern, by the way, in this case, we worked with poke leaf. One of the ways to fill in and get a really good filling in without having to kind of go back is if you work in circular strokes from the outside in. So in this particular case, it's going to look like half my tile was actually a beautiful, rich black tile. So I've kind of created this juxtaposition of the tile by using the border of what I drew to create this illusion. And filling in once again gives it a different dimension to the tile itself. Now, I'm going to bring my camera back up, excuse me, because what I want to do is I want to come in and just finish out here with maybe what I call an auraing, which is I'm following the line with my pen that precedes me. I'll do a second one starting from the top. Once again, all I'm going to do is mimic the line and the stroke, the movement of the line, as I like to call it, because it is a movement for me. I'll do a third as best I can. And it just creates this nice little rhythmic flow. Out into the tile. With a nice juxtaposition of the tile. And what I like to do with any Zentangle tile is I like to rotate it, and I like to decide which is my up and which is my down. So in this case, I'm going to sign my art, and I sign it hipster, H-I-P. You can sign it any way you want to, first initial, last initial, your full name. I like to date it. Just to remind myself where I've been on my journey. Kind of rounding out these bouquets, by the way, with just a circular motion of my ink pen. So just to kind of flow it out. Now, for those of you, we're going to wind down because we're in our juxtaposition of our end of our class. I hope you will take a class from me and explore. This was a floral pattern, by the way. Really give us that ability to come in and create a nice little bouquet using fill-in. We did our gratitude, corner dots, border, string. We did poke leaf the tangle, Pokeleaf. We initialed and sign, and then we appreciate together. And I just hope you're looking at your own tile, looking at how the shading, has impacted by bringing in white space. Into bringing in different shadows into the white space light. And kind of created this abstract floral pattern. Now, if you have colored markers or some colored pencils, and I'm only going to do one for the sake of time. Let's do this one. You could come in and start adding that pop of color to your art piece. It's totally up to you. The abstract black and white is beautiful in of itself. Or adding the color Beautiful, rich colors into the floral poke leaf bouquet. Starts to give it a whole nother dimension and look. But that really is up to you and how you want to do that. We could have also filled in the center of where we put the shadow in with the lead pencil and the shading. We actually could have filled in and left the poke leaf white and brought the color within the inside where we put the shading. This area right in here. I like to mix colors. So like I said, if you have markers, you can explore and play with the colors that, by the way, and your floral garden is your floral garden. It does not have to be, a garden that is standard garden. Your garden is your garden. And how you make it, really dictates the imagination, the exploration, the creativity in this type of technique. So you can have it in as many ways as you want it. I'm Miriam, coming to you from the Tampa, Florida area. I look forward to seeing you in a class. Check out the classes. We're going to be doing a lot more different things: expressive tangling, introduction to Zentangle, expressive arts. You can read all about it on my website, but I hope to see you in a future class. Thank you.